When I married Daniel, I never imagined my life would change so quickly. At 38, I was newly divorced and looking for a fresh start. Daniel was 10 years older, kind, grounded, and exactly what I thought I needed after years of chaos. He had a son, Ethan, from his first marriage, a tall and quiet 19-year-old who had just started college. I'd met him twice before the wedding, and both times, I remember thinking he barely looked at me. He was polite, sure, but reserved, distant even. When Ethan moved back in with us during his summer break, I didn't expect much interaction. I assumed he'd stay in his room or hang out with his friends. But what I got was entirely different. Ethan was present. Not in an annoying way, just noticeably more attentive than I remembered. He'd ask if I needed help around the house, offer to carry groceries, or linger in the kitchen while I cooked, asking questions about my life, my work, even my favorite movies. I told myself he was just being nice. Maybe college had matured him. Maybe he was trying to bond. Still, there were moments that made me pause. Like the day I came down in a tank top and yoga pants after my workout, and his eyes didn't move away fast enough. Or the night I found him on the porch, staring up at the stars, and he said, "You don't look like someone who should be inside so much." I laughed it off, but something in the way he said it made me wonder. Daniel, my husband, was working more than usual. His consulting firm had picked up a big client, and he often left early and came home late, sometimes sleeping in the guest room if he had an early call. I didn't blame him. This contract was a big deal for us financially. But it also meant I was spending more time with Ethan. Too much time. It all shifted the night the power went out during a thunderstorm. Daniel was away on a work trip. I was in the living room with candles lit, reading a book when Ethan came downstairs, shirtless, saying his phone had died. "Can I sit with you?" he asked. I nodded. It felt innocent enough. He sat across from me, watching the flickering candles more than anything else. Then he said it out of nowhere. "You know, if I weren't your stepson, I'd probably be trying really hard to be more than just nice to you." My heart skipped a beat. I looked up slowly, unsure if I'd heard him right. "What did you say?" He didn't flinch. I said what I meant. His eyes met mine and they didn't look away. "You're beautiful, Sarah. I see the way you look at me sometimes. I'm not a kid. I know the difference between someone being polite and someone wondering what if." I should have said something. I should have told him to stop, to go back to his room, to never say something like that again. But I didn't. Instead, I whispered, "That's not something you should say." He leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. "But it's true, right? I mean, haven't you felt it too?" I didn't answer, because the truth was yes, I had felt it. The pull, the spark, the late-night moments when our eyes met too long, the accidental brushes in the hallway, the things unsaid, but heavy between us. The room was silent except for the soft patter of rain outside. My breath was shallow. My heart pounded. He stood up slowly and said, "I'll go if you want me to." But I just needed to say it. I couldn't pretend anymore. I didn't stop him. I didn't tell him to go or stay. I just sat there, watching the shadows dance on the walls, wondering how everything had just changed in one sentence. The next morning, I thought maybe he'd pretend it hadn't happened. But when I came down for coffee, he was already in the kitchen, shirt on this time, acting completely normal. Like he hadn't confessed something impossible the night before. I watched him from the doorway, torn between discomfort and a dangerous curiosity. Over the next few days, we fell into a new rhythm. Nothing inappropriate happened. No touching, no stolen kisses. But the tension was thick. He watched me more openly. I became more aware of how I moved, how I dressed, how I laughed. It was like a game neither of us admitted we were playing. One afternoon, I caught him staring at me from the patio while I watered the plants. When I walked over to hand him a glass of lemonade, his fingers brushed mine and lingered. "You don't have to say it," he said softly. "But I know you feel it too." I didn't respond. I walked away. Daniel called that night and said he was extending his trip by another week. Part of me was relieved. Part of me was terrified. A few days later, I came home from the grocery store to find the house empty, or so I thought. I took a shower, changed into a robe, and walked to the kitchen. As I turned the corner, I saw Ethan sitting at the dining table, headphones in, shirt off, sketching in a notebook. I froze. He looked up and took his headphones out. "Didn't mean to scare you," he said. I tightened my robe. "I didn't know you were home." He smiled. "You look peaceful." I should have walked away. But I didn't. Instead, I sat across from him. "What are you drawing?" He turned the notebook around. It was a sketch of a woman sitting on a chair, legs tucked under her, holding a cup. Her face was only half finished, but the resemblance was uncanny. It was me. My breath caught. "You drew me." He shrugged. "You're always in my head. I had to put you somewhere." The robe slipped slightly from my shoulder. I didn't fix it. Ethan stood slowly, walked over, and brushed the strand of hair from my cheek. "You know I'd never hurt you, right?" My voice was barely audible. "I know." His hand dropped. "Then tell me to stop, and I will." I couldn't say it. I couldn't bring myself to push him away. I didn't say no. What happened after that was a blur of emotions. Guilt, thrill, fear, desire. We didn't speak of it the next day, or the one after that. We moved through the house like strangers sometimes and like something else entirely at others. When Daniel returned, everything returned to normal, at least on the surface. But I wasn't the same. Ethan kept his distance, but his eyes always found mine across the room. He never brought it up again, never pushed. He didn't need to, because that moment had changed everything. And I had let it.